Alrighty, we are into our third mock draft here. So what the premise behind this is this is we are looking at each spot in a 12-team half PPR league and just seeing how different strategies work. With the first overall pick, you can find these podcasted as well. There's a playlist for them on YouTube. Just search Primetime Klein 1. That is where you can find me on YouTube. But with the first overall pick, we went Justin Jefferson and worked our way through kind of a zero RB strategy. With the second overall pick, we didn't do that. We went Christian McCaffrey. We've noticed that wide receiver is... It definitely thins out, and I think it thins out this year quicker than running back does. So we'll see where this draft kind of takes us this time around as we go from the number 3 spot. As always, we are doing it on hashtag not a sponsor, but on the Sleeper app. So let's click this button. Let's go start draft. Yes. I want to start, and we are underway. So, as expected, it goes Jamar Chase. Oh, not expected. Sorry. It goes Jamar Chase and Christian McCaffrey 1-2. So, we're going to get Justin Jefferson and be very happy about this at this spot. Travis Kelce goes immediately after. I'm going to mute that. That I don't know if I don't think it was picking up on the thing, but it was picking it up for me, and that was annoying me. So we have skipped that. Patrick Mahomes, first quarterback off the board in the second round. Coming back around here, Kelce, the only tight end off of the board. It is now to us. So we have gone Josh Allen in a couple of these spots. We've gone Josh Allen in this spot. We've gone Ramondre Stevenson in this spot as well. Do we want to double up on wide receivers again and see how that zero RB type of a style really wants us to go? I'm going to kind of put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to get into my dudes later, which I'll explain the premise of that. I've said premise too many times on this show, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. I think he is capable of being a number one running back, even with Ezekiel Elliott out in New England this year. So the pick to click is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews, Josh Allen, and Najee Harris come off of the board. So it comes back around to me. Looking at the players that are available right now, it is Chris Olave, T. Higgins, and Devonta Smith as the wide receivers. At running back, it is Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, and Jahmyr Gibbs. So it does feel a little bit high for this, but I just feel like everyone else is a tier below. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts in this spot, and we're going to see what our draft looks like here, going wide receiver, running back, and quarterback with our first 3 spots. Another quarterback comes off the board with the 6th overall pick in the 3rd round. That would be Lamar Jackson. Deebo Samuel comes off. So I've been saying that I want to get Darren Waller in these drafts. I'm probably going to have to reach here. And this is where the strategy of taking Hurts backfires a little bit, because Justin Herbert is sitting right here. And that's why maybe you don't necessarily reach on those quarterbacks in the way that we just did. But I am, like, DeAndre Hopkins is available here as a wide receiver. We haven't gone tight end yet. We've been around too late in waiting on Darren Waller. Waller is probably going to be my 5-3 pick coming around here. We're at 410 right now. Wide receivers available: DeAndre Hopkins, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, and Christian Watson. Running backs are Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, Damian Pierce, J.K. Dobbins, and Cam Akers. I am really intrigued by DJ Moore this year, so we're going to take DJ Moore in this spot and solidify our wide receiver room again. Off of the board after us goes Aaron Jones, Nuke Hopkins, Damian Pierce, and George Kittle. So that fell the way we kind of thought, and we are now going to take Darren Waller in this spot. And again, putting my money where my mouth is after doing a little bit more research on these topics as it comes around. So this would be an area now where we're probably hoping to get our number 2 running back. I was just about to say I am hoping that DeAndre Swift stays on. He did not. So we missed him by about 6 picks. I've been taking Javonte Williams in these spots at some certain times. Dalvin Cook is also available. We were gifted him, is one way of putting it, in one of our last ones. Javonte Williams, I just feel like he is someone that yes, he is coming off of an injury, but he was so talented a couple of years ago. I just don't feel like this is a running back that is going to really disappoint. So as our RB2, I feel comfortable in taking Williams here. After us, it's Hollywood Brown, Dalvin Cook, Michael Pittman, and Isaiah Pacheco. I'd be interested to go with a bit more of a sure thing, I guess, in a David Montgomery to kind of back up Javonte Williams there. And you look at the wide receivers around, it's Christian Kirk, Mike Evans, JSN, Deontay Johnson, and George Pickens. So again, not loving what we are seeing from the wide receiver spot. So I am going to go with another running back here, and we're going to go David Montgomery in this spot. Players that we're kind of hoping to come back around by the time we are drafting one more time. There isn't really like a major target coming up here in the draft as it's circling back around. A couple more quarterbacks have gone off the board. Tua and Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson goes as well. So now we are back around. It's Kadarius Toney available along with Quentin Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas at wide receiver. At running back available is Zach Charbonnet, Rashad Penny, and Brian Robinson. I really like Rashad Penny. I think he's going to get a bit of that backfield in Philadelphia, that they do split things a fair amount. He does get hurt a little bit, and I'm worried that we're going with a couple too many injury-prone running backs here, but I'm going to go Rashad Penny in this spot and continue to round out our running back room. Wide receivers that are available as it comes back to us after Anthony Richardson goes, Brandon Cooks, Kadarius Toney, and then Charbonnet. So Quentin Johnson's out there, Michael Thomas, Zay Flowers, Juju Smith-Schuster, Cortland Sutton, Elijah Moore, and Jameson Williams. We've gotten Zay Flowers in this spot before. I like Zay Flowers a fair amount, and the potential for that offense out in Baltimore. Quentin Johnson's an interesting name given how banged up that receiver room can get in LA. So we're going to take a gamble on a rookie running back here for the second year in a row, or for the second draft in a row here. And we're going to go Quentin Johnson in this spot. So as we... this one falling actually a little bit differently. We've rounded out our running back room here early, and now we'll see what's available for us at wide receiver as things come back around to us. So it swings back. We are back on the clock, and it's a number of wide receivers now that are available. Elijah Moore, Jameson Williams, Alan Lazard that are ADP-wise supposed to be going in this neighborhood. For running backs, the top ones available, Damian Harris, Elijah Mitchell, Jerick McKinnon, Condre Miller, and Raheem Mostert. So also, if you're wondering for quarterbacks, Geno Smith is available here, as well as Daniel Jones, Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, and Bryce Young. So there isn't really an obvious, okay, this is the one we have waited for this spot here. I think I'm going to go Damian Harris. He's just a solid running back on a very good offense. So once again, really building up this running back depth, but I feel like after a couple of riskier picks, this one's a bit more of a safer one at running back. So now we're starting to look ahead. We have 2 picks that aren't kicker and defense left. 3 picks, that aren't kicker and defense coming up. Looking at those available, Elijah Moore is really interesting. The number 2 receiver in Cleveland, maybe the number 3 or 4 option in Cleveland doesn't intrigue me a whole lot. We've gone Jerick McKinnon before in this spot, and I think I might go there again. But one more time, our wide receiver depth is certainly lacking. And when you look at the options that are left, there aren't a ton that make you get really excited. So this is why we have been going wide receiver a little bit earlier on in drafts, because now you're looking at this and it's like, Jerick McKinnon feels like almost like a luxury purchase here. We are going to go with McKinnon. But yeah, I'm not loving how the wide receiver rooms end up as we have kind of waited on wide receiver here. And as you kind of see it come along, it just looks gross at receiver the later into drafts that you go. So we come back around here. I am going to go receiver in this spot. I'm going to go Romeo Doubs. I think that there's still actually a bit of potential in the Green Bay offense, and I feel like at this point, we're not paying a premium for it, so Romeo Doubs is going to be our wide receiver there. Higbee, Foreman, Jalen Warren, and Mingo come off of the board. I'm running backs, that there isn't one that really gets me all that excited at this point. So I think we are going to go wide receiver one more time. And we're going to go with another big play type of a threat in Rondale Moore. And now, and this is where, and honestly, I'm probably going to start doing this. This is where I think you could justify going kicker and defense in these spots, is right there. Because at that point, in the 13th round, I have not loved any option that we've got there so far. And we find ourselves on the tail end of both a kicker and a defense run. So we're going to take the Jets defense here, and it's going to swing back around to us, and we will go with kicker Brandon McManus, who we have always gone with. So this is probably, of the three that we've done so far, the one that I like the least. And I'm seeing now that maybe the decision to reach on Darren Waller there in that 5th round maybe does come back to bite us a little bit. Miles Sanders comes off of the board. J.K. Dobbins comes off of the board. Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Drake London. Maybe those are some options that you would like ahead of a Darren Waller. So maybe reaching on the tight end that I wanted, maybe that does end up coming back to bite a little bit. But that is a player that I've kind of targeted as a guy who I would really like. But that might have been the strategic error here. So to recap, our starting group here, our quarterback is going to be Jalen Hurts, wide receiver Justin Jefferson and DJ Moore out in Chicago. Our starting running backs are going to be Ramondre Stevenson and Javonte Williams. Our starting tight end is Darren Waller, and then in the flex, David Montgomery is kind of our best option right now. So this one, not the strongest of teams from the three hole. I would say this one is my least favorite of the teams that we've put together so far. Looking at the depth of things, we only drafted one quarterback. Our wide receiver room is Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Quentin Johnson, Romeo Doubs, and Rondale Moore. And our running backs are Ramondre Stevenson. Sorry for watching along, and I'm scrolling all over the place. Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Damian Harris, and Jerick McKinnon. We have the Jets defense, and we have Brandon McManus as our kicker. So that is what it looks like, or what it could look like, if you go from the 3rd overall position in your fantasy draft. Like I said, I'm doing all of these picks 1 through 12 and going to be putting them up as podcasts, as well as having them in a YouTube playlist. So if you want to see and kind of follow along, that is the place to do it there. So that is another mock draft here from Couch Potato Diary.